All right, let's get this one over with as soon as possible. Absolutely disgusted. Just disgusting night. Really not much to be positive about. All year long, please hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Share with a friend. Thank you very much. And what can I say, guys? This one was grotesque. The New Jersey Devils back at the Rock, hosting the Dallas Stars, who played last night. Devils looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak. And they did not do it. The New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils, fall to the Dallas Stars by a score of 3-0. And tonight's going to be brutal. I already know. The comments are going to be brutal, but this game sucked. I was at the game. It's the earliest I've ever left a game in years. Partially fueled by my buddy who I was with, who really was getting antsy and was like, let's get the hell out of here. And really the Devils gave us no reason to stay. I think I left with about 9 minutes left in the third, and they were down 3-0, 9 minutes left. I was like, all right, this team has been completely lifeless. So I will not fight you too hard to leave. Terrible game. We get to the goals. Scoreless first period. Devils had a couple chances. I forget if was that Glendening, that the puck that was just sitting there that he couldn't get over the pad. I forget if that was the first or second period, but it may have been the first. But either way, scoreless first period. We head to the second, and Heiskanen just has too much time, in too tight. I think Siegs, again, I was at the game, so I didn't get to see the replays on my television at home where I could kind of see it a lot better. But I think Markey was way out of position. I think Siegs screened him a little bit, and Heiskanen buries one. Gives the Stars the 1-0 lead at 11:34 of the second, and then about 6 minutes later, Robertson, bang, back of the net. 2-0 Stars at that point. That is how the second period would end. Devils going into the third looking to erase a 2-goal deficit, and it did not happen. At 7:05, Rantanen gets his 12th of the season, gives the Stars the 3-0 lead, and that is all she wrote, folks. The New Jersey Devils go down by a score of 3-0. I believe that's the second time we've been shut out now. Oh man, there's not a lot to be positive about in this game if we're being honest. This one was pretty damn ugly. Devils did have some chances, but win or lose, we booze, guys. Cheers to all of you. I'm going with the Nooners, the High Noon Black Cherry. Win or lose, we booze. Tonight, obviously, for the third game in a row, we are drinking loser beverages, and they don't taste the same, but we will drink them nonetheless. Loser beverages for us tonight. Get to the game stats. Stars 28 shots on goal, Devils 31. Devils really owned them in the faceoff circle. 36.4% for the Stars. 63.6% for the Devils. Stars go 0 for 1 on the power play. Devils go 0 for 2 on the power play. And those power plays looked like absolute trash. Just tragic power plays. It was pretty ugly, and I'm distraught at this point. Let me just get through these stats before I whine some more, because this is really Stars 12 hits, Devils 23 hits, Stars 24 block shots, Devils with 9, nowhere near enough block shots. 9 is pathetic. Stars 16 giveaways, Devils 21 giveaways. That's way too many. Stars 7 takeaways, Devils 4 takeaways. And there's not going to be anything worth talking about in the player stats here, but Paul Cotter, 2 blocks and 4 hits. Love to see that. Bratter with 4 shots and 2 hits. Grits with 3 shots. Lamico, 2 shots, a block, 2 hits. Dilly, a block, 2 hits, 4 shots for Dilly. That's pretty high for him. Dougie Hamilton, a shot, 2 hits. And Markey, 25 saves on 28 shots. Those are your player stats. Let me go to the deserve to win-o-meter, and deserve to win-o-meter said the Devils win this one 56.3% of the time. If you look at the concentration of some of the shots there, Devils had some chances. I mean, it's not like they had none. Ottinger had to work for the win, but I don't think he had to like stand on his head or anything. It was kind of a routine game for him. He played well, earned the shutout, and the Devils did nothing. Pretty ugly game from top to bottom. Markey didn't have a good game, but in the end, if anyone's going to try to blame Markey, I mean, just save it. I haven't got to the comments yet. I'm sure some people will, but if it's not that, then I'm sure everyone will be blaming Luke, one or the other. But in a game where you generate 0 goals, it doesn't matter if Markey gave up 1 or 70. The Devils are losing this game. It's just painful. It was a painful loss. It was even more painful to be there. And I was planning on watching this one from my couch. And then I just was, midday, talked to one of my buddies, and I was like, do you want to go to the game tonight? And he was like, yes. I was like, I guess we're going, but I wish we didn't. It's officially panic time, guys. Now, a lot of you, most of the people that this refers to are kind of most of the people I'm about to describe I would classify as doomers. There's some people that are negative, but I wouldn't say are doomers. But, some of those people have been acting this way after the first game in Carolina. But it's officially panic time for me. This team is now 2-6 in their last 8 games. They had a 3-game losing streak, responded really nicely with a 3-game winning streak, and made myself and others kind of buy back in again. Like, all right, 3 in a row sucks, but they responded in a big way. They won 3 games. But here we are now on a 3-game losing streak. So it's like the consistently inconsistent 25-26 New Jersey Devils, 3-game losing streak, 3-game winning streak, and now 3-game losing streak again. Oh, sorry. So what's that? 3? Is that what I said? 3-6? Right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 3-6 in their last 9. Absolutely atrocious. 3-6 in your last 9. It's panic time. And unfortunately, the team is injured. That does have a lot to do with it, but it doesn't matter. There's 0 excuse to play this poorly when one guy is out of your lineup. I don't think there's any team in the league that if you plucked their best player, it would be this drastic of a drop-off. And this was... Someone had sent me this during the game, obviously, because I was at the game, so I wasn't watching this. Second periods, NHL ranks with and without Jack Hughes. Rush chances with Jack Hughes, second in the league, without 30th. Ozone entries with, what is SC? I don't know what that is. Ozone entries with... I don't know. I got to figure that out. But with Jack Hughes, second, without 32nd. Slot chances with Jack Hughes, third, without 27th. Goals for, fifth, without Jack Hughes, 29th. These are staggering drop-offs without Jack Hughes. It's just, obviously, there's going to be a drop-off of some kind. But for it to be this drastic is disgusting and unacceptable. When you look at the numbers with Jack Hughes, they're top 5 in everything, second in 2 categories and third in another, and then they're basically in the bottom 5 or so of the league without him. It's like polar opposite. It's insane. The drop-off without Jack it's why this team is struggling major right now, and I cannot figure it out. This team is a one-man show, unfortunately. While you look at these names on paper and you're like, oh, we still have Nico and we still got Brad, we still got Timo and we got Grits and we got Mercer, and you start rattling off all these guys, but in the end, they're not doing shit. They are doing absolutely nothing without Jack Hughes. And so it is frustrating to see. A lot of the people that have been super negative about the team after opening night in Carolina, some of the stuff they said did come to fruition. I've talked about this before, that some of these negative people in the long run could be right about certain things, but I will always maintain the fact that you're an idiot for saying it so early before you actually had substance to base it on, if that makes sense. I'm sure some of you kind of get what I'm saying. But yeah, this apparently is a one-man team, unfortunately. I really did not want it, or I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want it to be true. I did not think it was true. When you look at the roster on paper, you're like, obviously Jack Hughes is their best player, but there's plenty of other guys here to get it done, to generate offense and get wins when he's not in the lineup. But no. The drop-off is significant, and it's the difference between a true cup contender, in my opinion, a true cup contender and a team that is headed towards the basement of the league. I mean, that's how bad this was. I'm disgusted. Bobby, thank you for the super. What's up, Ace? This team does not look good. Yeah, you think? I'm not sure what needs to be done, but our power play sucks, and our entire offensive production is non-existent. I think it's time for Fitz to leave. He's us. Yeah, thank you for the super. The team is in complete disarray without Jack. And this is going to be a massive moment that could end up defining the tenure of Tom Fitzgerald. Good, bad, or indifferent. What he does here. And my biggest fear, I don't even want to vocalize it because I feel like that's putting negative energy out in the world. And I don't know. But my biggest fear is that they're like, oh, team sucks without Jack. He's down. Better luck next year, and do absolutely nothing. And I think that would be a grave mistake. As you guys all know, I am a firm believer in the win now movement. And I do believe this team is pretty damn good with Pesci. Don't let me, I got to always lump Pesci in there as well. But Jack is the glaring, the massive hit that we cannot overcome. But Pesci's a massive one as well. And when both of those guys are in the lineup, and Kovacevic, this team should be much better, but not scoring a goal, just looking completely inept at times, is really gross, and it's a tough pill to swallow, and being at the game makes it even worse. Like, I'm just so, like, I have no idea how much I dreaded do it, like even logging onto my computer to do this. I just wanted to wallow in my bed and just exist. And now we get to the comments. As much as I am dreading it. Let's see. Tasha says we need to get rid of Fitz. I don't know if that's going to happen. And I don't know. I think this is a big season for him, obviously. Let's see what he does as the deadline approaches. Does he try to add to this team, or does he kind of just stand firm and do nothing? Does he make a minor move? I just think we have to it would suck to just squeak into the playoffs again. I mean, yeah, as of right now, if I had to bet money what the outcome is, I would say we back into the playoffs like we did last year and get rolled in the first round again. I hope that doesn't happen, but it seems like, and some of you are going to say we're not even going to make the playoffs. I think that's a bit drastic, but it certainly could happen. With the standings the way they are, you could fall out of a playoff spot pretty quickly. Oh my God. Yeah. So the Devils are now third in the Metro with 33 points. The first wild card is the Penguins with 31. And the second one is the Flyers, oh my God, with 31 points. And then the Islanders also have 31 points, but they're third for the wild card right now because they had 27 games played. But both the Penguins and Flyers have 2 games in hand on the Devils. So essentially, you can, if they won both of those games, the Devils are, wow, like barely holding on to a wild card spot, honestly, at this point. And the Rangers are right there with 30, and the Bruins, it's just crazy. A bad week puts you from, second in the division to out of the playoffs. And it's kind of disgusting. Wow. Jeremy Proper, finger cut with glass or arm burnt with a barbecue grill. It's all over the league. Yeah, the freak off the ice injuries are happening. I'm a bit surprised we haven't heard of more of these over the years just because there's so many guys in the league that I feel like it's almost bound to happen. You're talking about, even if you call it, 20-something guys, a team, 30-something team. Yeah, it's like 750-ish players across the league. You would imagine that this stuff would happen more frequently than it does. But there's been, several off the ice freak injuries. And there was something else too. The barbecue grill. And I feel like there was another one recently. Ritter Endon says fire fits. Running with the Woodson. We've had 3 years of proof to see it coming. Eric Wolf, Schmid absolutely going to goalie us if he starts. That game, I could see that happening. Brennan Play says it was time for Fitz to leave in 23-24 when we didn't address goaltending fast enough. I completely agree with that. I do believe that was a precious season of the core completely squandered because we got Kakinen and Jake Allen on deadline day, and it was like, dude, just get anyone with a pulse a month or two earlier, and I think we would have had a fighting chance to scrape into the playoffs. Would have been nice, but here we are. Not Tasha says, Doug, you looked awful today too. Steven, I can't believe we lost a player to something so idiotic. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Yeah, Murphy's Law. It's happening to the Devils year after year now. Ritter Engine, Luke is MIA. Jeremy Proper says back-to-back shutouts incoming. Man, you guys are so positive. Natasha, I still can't believe you missed the playoffs in 23-24. I can. The whole entire world knew we needed goaltending. It never came. And, wasted season of the core. It is what it is. True Patriot, this team and Cup contender are nowhere near the same universe. I think they could be when fully healthy or healthier. As the team stands today without Pesci and Jack, absolutely not. Christopher M. Ace, we need to talk about our lifeless captain. Seriously, we need to have a conversation about it. Listen, I want to see more, for sure. But, what are you going to do? The guy's a great player. I don't know what more. It's just not his DNA of the types of things that you're looking for. And I kind of made my peace with that a couple years ago. But I agree. I would like more of a fiery leader, but he's not that guy. And I don't know that I could blame some of these terrible performances on that. Now, could we be in a better spot if we had one of the rah-rah choke slam kind of captains? Maybe. But this is just I think this problem is bigger than just that. Cody Skills, the New Jersey Devils, the team of potential. Lamico should not be on this roster. Yeah. That's a fair thing too. But he's here. He's here. And unless we make a trade to kind of push him out of the lineup, he's going to be here. Mario, the Devils aren't even a real playoff contender right now to me. I don't know how one individual carries a team. This is not basketball. You need depth to win this league. Yeah, you do. You do need depth. But for whatever reason, when Jack is out, it's like the entire team just folds up. And it's sad. It's truly sad. Alex, yep, Ace, we're Ace spot on. We're at a crossroads. I think we are. Fresh ice cold beer. I don't know what is worse. Jack Hughes being injured every year. The fact that the rest of the team can't score without him. Both. It's a big problem, and it's recurring. I would have never thought when Jack went down that I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that Bratter and some of these other guys, their production would just take a nosedive. Now, to their credit, up until tonight, Nico and Timo were on a little bit of a heater, but a lot of guys just have fallen off entirely. And once again, here we are. And it's true. Whoever said it, it was like Halloween is the new Christmas break. At least last year we thought we were a legit team until the new year. This year it ended pretty quickly. We had that 8-game heater. It was a fun ride. And then it all just kind of slowly just got sucked away from us. But cheers to you guys. What a terrible night. Loser beverages for all. I thought about drinking bleach, but then I just said I'll just drink the high noon. A bleach and cyanide mixture after tonight's game. Steven C., we lost our best forward and best defenseman. Just Devils things. Yeah, it's true. David Chime, sorry, everyone, wrong. 3 losses in a row where goaltending was the difference. Otter plus 2.5 goals saved. I think that's is that above above expected, and Markey -1. I don't care about this shit, David. These are nerd stats. They have some usage, but let's not live and die with them. All last 3 losses, goaltending differential. Jack out, not close to main reason. Okay, well, here's the thing, David. The Devils scored 0 goals tonight. I don't care if Ottinger saved plus 27 goals above expected, and Markey was we scored no goals. We scored no goals. So, yeah, if you want to say chalk it all up to Ottinger and all these other goalies like playing out of their minds, fine. But we scored no goals. To blame tonight's game on Markstrom would be insane. Benjamin Schmidt is going to shut us down the day after tomorrow. I hope not. Ownership puts Devils last in the order of needs. Commanders number 1, Sixers number 2. Devils last. Yeah. Hockey's unfortunately doesn't have the cachet and money and whatever else of other sports, but hopefully one day everything comes together for this team to somehow really go on a deep run, because I'm getting tired of this. Captain Mofungo, Fitz is nowhere to be found. He's always caught with his pants down and his peach and deal out for all to see. Yo! Oh, you guys are nuts. Top Jenny, let's call a spade a spade. Is Pisha deal? Fitz always has an excuse, and ownership seems to be okay with it. Be okay with it. This is the same argument we had last year. Ownership couldn't give a crap about winning. I mean, listen, these are all speculations. I think you guys. I think that's accurate. I think that's accurate, but time will tell. I just hope we see something soon, and I hope that we see some trades, because because this has been a roller coaster season already, and it just hit December. I mean, I was walking with my chest out with my Devil stuff on during that, right after that 8-game heater. I was like, how you guys doing? You guys hockey fans or something like that? Devils, yeah, 8-game heater. And now it's like, oh my God, I'm like, in public. No, I would never be ashamed of the Devils, but it's really been quite the turn of events. Chicago cut, go folks. I blame it all on Chicago cut. Let me skip here. Stick Figs, even if we go on another 8+ game win streak, when Jack comes back, what message does this send out, especially come the playoffs? You want to beat the Devils, just take out Jack Hughes. I don't know. I don't think that was a secret. I think everyone kind of knew that. Or maybe not necessarily trying to take him out, but that he was the catalyst of the offense. And if you shut him down, never mind taking him out, if you could just kind of, beat on him a little bit, play him aggressively, and kind of get him off his game, you have a good chance of beating the Devils, because he is the best offensive player for the team. The man from Jersey says trade for Quinn. We could talk about that for hours. I'll probably make a video on some trade stuff soon, maybe. There's been a lot of nonsense floating around out there. David Ace, I feel like I'm the only one being positive. Everyone's like fire Fitz, fire Keefe, trade Nemitz, trade Hamilton, strip Nico of the sea. Come on, really. I don't think Fitz is getting fired. I think firing Keefe is a ridiculous notion. This guy is doing magic tricks with minor leaguers once again. Another year, another season where this man has to continually shuffle his lines and use AHL players on both offense and defense, because all the depth has been injured, essentially, or the depth is used up. We've used up all of our depth, and now we're back to AHL players. And so Keefe is the last of my worries. I can't see him getting fired by any stretch. It would be totally absurd. I think he's done a great job. Fitz, different story. I think trading Nemitz would be a mistake, but I can see a couple potential ways for that to happen. And Dougie, I think at this point might be probable, just because he solves multiple problems for the team if he is dealt, in terms of freeing up cap space and a right side D spot. And, I like Dougie. I know a lot of you are not on board with that, but you're going to see one day people are going to be like, I wish Dougie was still here. And then stripping Nico of the sea is ridiculous. That's just, come on, let's be real. That's slightly more ridiculous than the people talking about sending Luke to the AHL. Top Jimmy says, my prediction is we missed the playoffs. Damn. Did you push the button? I'm not sure what that is. Oh, the panic button? Yeah, for sure. True Patriot, a week ago, second in the Metro. It's now out of a playoff spot, basically. Tickets on secondary market were in the teens and lower part of the arena. People losing interest fast. Yeah, that's just something that people, or at least I guess the Devils have to realize is people have choices and people want to see a good team. And when you're not a good team, you're going to see that in the attendance. And in New York and New Jersey, as everyone knows, there is a lot of competition for the old entertainment dollar. People could go to movies and Broadway and other teams, and there's tons of shit to waste money on. Aside from hockey tickets to go see the Devils, and especially when they're struggling. And so I don't know. They got to figure it out. Brandon saw an article says Quinn package. They want Nemitz, Mercer, and a first rounder. Fitt's going to do it probably. I don't know if he will. We're going to see. I think there's going to be some other surprise teams in the mix if Vancouver ultimately says that they are going to trade him. True Patriot, where's Connor Brown, Nason, and Cotter on a milk carton? The whole team's on a milk carton right now. Slurp one says, where's Fatorik when you need him? This team needs a swift kick in the balls. Yeah, that'd be nice. "40-year-old goalies." I mean, they're not quite 40 yet. Getting there. But, when the team can't score a goal, I'm certainly not looking at the goaltenders at all. Christopher, I think Nico is an elite player. Do not get me wrong, Ace. However, when two key guys go down, Brett and Jack, I believe your captain, bringing everyone together. Yeah, I mean, listen, we only know what we see on television and whatever else. I do think there's more to the captaincy than meets the eye for the fan. But when, in certain moments, I guess people are conditioned, especially longtime Devil fans who did grow up or, lived through the Scott Stevens era, were accustomed to a different type of leadership. And if I had, if I could pick my personal prototypical captain, they would be more of that kind of makeup. But not every captain is that way. If you look around the league, there's plenty of other captains that are a little more passive, like Nico. But how I don't know how to phrase it, but like what could he really do? Like, do you think him yelling and acting like a crazy person is going to really do anything to this team, inspire them in some way, or make them produce? I don't think so. I could be wrong, but it's just a different world now. We live in a different time. Eric says we folded last year after the break with Jack. Remember that? Of course. It does seem like Jack was a little more, I don't know what you want to call it. He seemed a little more dominant or a little more explosive at the start of the season. But obviously, yeah, with Jack, there's no guarantees with anybody. But I like our chances a lot better with Jack Hughes than without, obviously. But yes, Jack Hughes is not a guarantee, deep playoff run by any stretch. But what we saw early on in the season was exciting, and it did give us hope. And again, most of the time, you don't see bad teams rip off 8-game winning streaks. That just does not happen. And against some pretty damn good teams. To win 8 in a row in this league is not easy. And it really made me think that this was a special year. And then obviously the injuries started to pile up. We were able to kind of, get past the first few, and then bigger names, bigger role players started going down. Pesci, Jack, and it really sucks. Cody Glass multiple times. But I hope that we could just kind of tread water somehow, play 500 or even a hair above hockey while Jack is out, and then he comes back and we get on a roll. Dave C. Ace, whatever happened to the media pass? Oh, Dave, messing up my night, Dave. You made a bad night worse. Sore subject. What happened to the media pass? it's a long story, but I will say it unfortunately came to an end not by my choice. And I will say I will look at the organization very differently going forward because I definitely was, how do I put this? I was treated unfairly, and I'll leave it at that. I was treated very unfairly, I would say. And so for now or forever, who knows, that is done. And it was a lot of nonsense in my opinion, but that's a story for another day. David, obviously the Jack Hughes injury is and always will be a misleading mystery. How do you lean on glass and get cut so bad you're out 8 weeks as a hockey player? Clearly something else happened. And he probably cut a tendon or an artery or something that, there's a lot of muscles and all these different things and the fingers and the nerves. He probably cut nerves. He probably got nerve damage or whatever. It's not like a paper cut. He could have damn near cut his finger off for all we know. Who knows? Maybe he cut it clean off and they had to reattach it. We have no idea. Benjamin, what we need is a drastic shakeup, but the front office either doesn't care or lacks the stones to do something. At this point, I think the shakeup may have to come. It may not happen until the offseason. And again, I made a video a couple months ago called The Last Dance, because for a lot of reasons, I did feel that this playoff run would be the last for this group together, at least all of them together, because it seems like if this is another kind of crash and burn season, I do think there will be some bigger changes. But we'll see. It's really been a rough go for these past couple of weeks. Christopher, at this point, Ace, I don't even care about Nico being passive. However, I really think he just doesn't lead at all. I mean, I don't know, man. If he was silent like he is and the team fell together, I wouldn't care. Well, I mean, what are you judging it on? They looked pretty together last game, right? When they kept getting their asses kicked against the Blue Jackets. So they were together then, just on the losing end of the fights. But I get it. People, when the team is kind of spiraling like this, people are going to start picking apart everything. And now it's turned to Nico, a guy I never thought would be kind of at the center of the criticism. But when a team plays like this, everyone's going to get criticized. I totally get it. He's just not a guy that I'm going to focus on personally in terms of frustrations. True Patriot Nason, Cotter Brown put on milk carton, missing since November. Oh boy, Slurp on this team has absolutely no grit. Justin said bleach and cyanide. True. C-Bones, Nico needs to go. Come on, man. Alex, honestly, anyone on the roster is up for trade if it makes a change in the right direction. I agree with that. Jubilee, the offense for NJD has been struggling for years, even with Jack on the roster. I'm missing the times we had a proper sniper like Kovalchuk on the team. The Covey days were ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. I lost my spot. Bear with me a second. Michael, Jack obviously cut a tendon and maybe nerves. Yeah, probably. Whatever it is, it's not good, obviously, to miss 8 weeks. And hopefully it is only 8 weeks. True Patriot, every member on the team right now is movable. I don't know about everyone, but most. Christopher Nico is too damn nice. Can you imagine? And I know we cannot go back, but can you imagine if Stevens was the captain the way they were playing? No, but it was a different world. Just everything was so different back then. But, yeah, it wouldn't be this. But I can't blame Nico for people just not getting it done. Zupamaki, the player that makes the most money on the team, can't defend, can't hit, can't pass, and can't shoot. That goes to show us the quality of our GM. True Patriot Ace, with Harris Blitzer ownership, just don't seem to be that invested in the Devils. It's possible. Oh, it fits. I'm reading my buddy Goody's thing. If we miss the playoffs, it should be an immediate firing, but I'm not sure that it will be. DMW, I wonder what Stan the Man would say about the current state of the team. I'm not sure how much he pays attention to the Devils these days, but we'll see. True Patriot, hate to say this, but even Keefe is on the hot seat. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think he's been getting the best results he can with the hand he's been dealt. And again, another year with minor leaguers on offense and defense. I mean, it's crazy. We finally had all this depth, and like that, bang, all these injuries, and it's used up. Christopher, are you kidding me? They gave Dilly a silver stick there, invested in the team. Yeah, Dilly got his silver stick tonight for the 1,000th game. Nice. Anson says, trade for Ryan O'Reilly and Tuck. Wait for Quinn. There's no way you get both of those guys. And Tuck's going to want $12 million after the season. So, David, forget nerd stats. Markey, 875 save percentage. Biggest problem, not selective stats about one period with and without Jack. Admit Markey aged out and Fitz extension, another goalie bumble. I'm not going to admit it yet. I certainly will if I believe it's time to admit it. As of right now, I'll firmly say it's frightening. It's certainly frightening, and his play has not been inspiring on the year. I certainly will say that. But the contract is for next year and the year after. So you're way early, but I'm certainly nervous about it. Give Dilly the C, please. Oh, man. Brenden Dillon. David Chime says, bring up Dawes versus Schmidt with Spark. That would be interesting. Amagi, I almost showed up to this game for the beginning of the second after picking up someone from Newark Airport. My God, I'm glad I didn't. What an absolute disaster. Where are our top guys? They're on the milk carton with all the other guys. True Patriot, wasting money on mediocre hockey is not one wants to waste on. Yeah. We've been seeing a lot of it as of late. Mediocre puck. And Friday against the Golden Knights. Oh, boy. Jason, I'm staying positive. Jack and Brett are going to come back, and the team is going to catch fire. There's still a ton of season. Yeah. But we can't just tank before they get back. Joshua says 3 points for Casey tonight. Maybe we should call him up. He seems to have recovered from his injury. I like Casey, but I don't know. They gave him his couple games, and it seemed like they were like, we've seen enough for a while. True Patriot, I'm punching out. I'm basically depressed, and the team has lost me. Need a break again. Yeah, try sitting here doing this, my guy. With the I mean, this is actually way less dooming than I would have thought. I feel like the last game was worse. David, goaltending the biggest single reason for our last 3 losses. Bring up Dawes. I like Dawes. What is the deal with his waiver situation? He has to play, or he only has a certain amount of days or something before he'd have to clear waivers. Eric says this team has no shot at the cup with or without Hughes. That I disagree with. I do think with Jack and Pesci, if they get hot, they certainly have at least a chance. Jack, non-factors after non-factors, night in, night out. Injuries be damned. There's 2 forwards hurt, 4 non-factors playing nightly. Try something else like the Yankees with minor league talent nightly. Yeah. Larry, please make the case why Fitz shouldn't be fired. Injuries. Every team has injuries. Look at Carolina. They make moves quickly, yet they have $8 million cap space in their first-round picks. I think if they miss the playoffs somehow, then the chatter will be very loud. I don't know that it'll even be enough for him to get fired. But I certainly think if they miss the playoffs, it would be 1,000% warranted and deserved. I mean, you can't have the track record that we've had for the past few years with the pieces that you inherited. It's just unacceptable. What a team that once had the most probably promising future, with getting those number one picks and getting Nico and Jack, and then getting Nemitz and Luke and getting a 7th overall and wasting it on Alex Holtz. But either way, there's just an abundance of great pieces inherited and draft capital fortunes that came our way, and we've turned it into absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. A single playoff round one in the past, wait for it, 14 years, 13 years, whatever, 13 years. 13 years with a single playoff round one, and it is gross. But hopefully that changes this year. I'm still holding out hope that somehow this team could just play 500-ish till Jack comes back and then get hot at the right time. Slurp says, loser Prozac for everyone. Hokage, as much as we want the Devils to be the Devils of the past, it's not that league anymore. I wish this team could be that great. Yeah, I think we all do. Who knows where the season will go? Still a long season. Let's go Devils. That's exactly where I'm at. That is exactly where I'm at with you, my guy. Hokage, hit the thumbs up. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. I mean, I'm out here just depressed. I'm down, guys. I'm super down. Yeah, 3-game winning streak. 3-game losing streak, followed up with a 3-game winning streak. And I was like, all right, they're back. And then another 3-game losing streak. I mean, it's terrible. 3-6. Yeah, I showed it before, washed up. I showed the MSG graphic. There it is again for those that anyone didn't see it. This is randomly second periods, but I'd imagine that you would see a big drop off regardless of what period or if you use the whole game. But I'm sure the second period, for whatever reason, is the most drastic one, which is why they use the stat. But you guys could see it there. Completely nuts. Amagi, breaks my heart to hear that, Ace. You deserve better from the organization. Wow. Yeah, life's not fair, guys. I realize that, some people have bad luck. I do think I'm one of them, but, I thought I deserved better too. I'm not going to get into all of it now, maybe eventually, but yeah, totally got totally played out, in my opinion, or not even my opinion, in fact. And it is what it is. Alex, man, the Devils, if they're going to treat you like that, dude, sorry to hear you're a beast. I appreciate that, Alex. Yeah, what are you going to do? Life goes on. I wish this was something other than Devils hockey, because I would easily, given how everything played out, I would, if this was like a product or some other affiliation other than the Devils, I would very easily have had made the decision to no longer support that thing and move on to something else. But I unfortunately do not have that option with Devils hockey. I could never do that, despite the mistreating from the organization. So it is what it is. Mark, can't believe we had no contingency if this happened again this season. This is the same circumstances that happened past 2 seasons with the same results. No Jack, we wilt. No D, we wilt. It's a lot of wilting. And maybe there's something to the cemetery under the arena, guys. I mean, shit. At this point, what else could you chalk it up to? We need George Steinbrenner's goes to GM the team. Frank says we take Carolina leftovers. True Patriot, not working. Maybe Android has different function. Oh, you guys are trying to figure out how to do something in the chat. Sorry, I'm not the tech guy. Nancy, Lamico needs to get off this team ASAP. The guy's literally the new Bastion. David, sorry to hear about the press pass stuff. Love your coverage. Boozeface found out about nickname. No, and I didn't call him Boozeface. You guys call him Boozeface. That's someone else's nickname. No, it was I don't even want to get into all this, but I was falsely accused of nonsense. And then when I said that the stuff was not true and can prove it, it was crickets, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, but they didn't want me, a certain powers that be or power that be didn't want me there to begin with. And I found a way through persistence and some other things to get in. And this individual was just waiting in the shadows to try to find something or some circumstance to try to get me out of there. And they used the complete BS one. But yeah, it's like I said, some people are power trippers. Some people are just haters or whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately, in the case of this, it's pretty much one individual who represents the organization, and in my opinion, represents the organization horribly in so many ways. And I've already talked to tons of people who have horrible stories about this individual as well. But what am I going to do? You can't beat City Hall. True Patriot, this has the makings of a crash and burn season for sure. I hope not. It's still very early. It's still very early. Alex should have seen it coming with the BS Blackwood had to deal with the coach. Download True Patriot. You guys are still talking about some tech thing. True Patriot, not fair assessment of Nico here, boys. Yeah, I just think this is what happens when teams are losing. People start going at picking apart everything. You're going to hear the Keefe stuff, which I think is absurd. Fitz and this guy and the captain. I mean, Christopher says, honestly, Ace is countering my Nico slander pretty well. Maybe I'm just one of the spoiled of the dynasty era. I don't know. I'll just hit the pen again. Yeah, it's just that we got to let it go. I was like that too, Christopher. In the beginning, I was like, you made this guy the captain? I'm like, really? But when you look around and honestly, it's part of the reason why I love the Kachuk brothers so much. They're just throwback lunatics. They are they are their old men. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They are like their old men. And they're just absolute beasts. And you see there's a couple other guys around the league like that, but for the most part, they're pretty rare. And the modern hockey player is not quite as psycho, I guess, really. Those guys back then were nuts. Prezify, thank you for the super. Team just isn't good. Ownership and management fail this team year after year. So tired of it. Good teams find a ways to stay afloat. We can't do that. As much as I will enjoy bashing Fitz as much as the next person, I have defended him a ton when I think it's warranted. Like, if we're being honest, right? How can you really blame Fitz entirely for a lot of these guys just not performing? Like, at some point, you have to be like, how was Fitz supposed to know this guy was going to suck? Or these however many guys were going to suck? Like, yeah, he brought them there, but when you look at the roster or when you look at it on paper, you're like, this team should not be as bad as they are right now. They shouldn't. So it's hard for me to blame Fitz entirely. Obviously, he will get some blame, but the defensive depth was great. I thought we're going to have a decent bottom six. And when the season started, it looked like we were. And then before you know it, the guillotine came down and just started claiming guys. And here we are again, just talking about the same exact shit as last year, just earlier. Like, oh, we had so much promise and then we got injured. Like, yeah, every single season. And that, I will say, is when you look at that element, that is something I will blame Fitz for, because the writing has kind of been on the wall for a while now. And it's the craziest shit about all this is that Jack wasn't injured in a hockey game. When you think about that, you're like, the guy that everyone said was the most injury-prone player in the league found a way to get injured not on the ice, which is nuts. But yeah, I mean, if there were some other pieces maybe brought in the past couple of years, I mean, there's really nothing you can. we could sit here and talk in circles all day. In the end, do I think Fitz has some blood on his hands? Absolutely. Is it entirely his fault? No. A good chunk of everything I would say is by default. But when you look at the roster, like these guys are underperforming and there's only so much he can do. But now I will say this is kind of his big moment coming up now. What do you do at this point, given what happened the last couple of years, 23, 24, the whole world knew we needed goaltending. We didn't get any. Get it on deadline day, far too late, missed the playoffs. Then last year, a team that looked amazing through December, end of the month, holiday break, come back, slowly tank it. No real reinforcements brought in on deadline day, and we just kind of fizzle into the playoffs and get smoked by Carolina. And now here we are in 25-26. What will he do now? This is the crossroads, for sure. This is it. This is kind of the do or die season, in my opinion. And if the Devils flame out, I think there should be some big changes from top to bottom. Mark, too bad Timo started to come alive during this stretch. His contribution is being overshadowed by the team's overall garbage play. Yeah, Timo and Nico both got hot. Top Jimmy says, bear with me 1 second. Graham, Devils never lost 3 in a row when Steven was captain. That's crazy. Did someone say that? I mean, I feel like they would have had to have. That can't be a real stat. True Patriot, remember the 10% ticket prices hike before season? I do. Yeah, I mean, everything goes up, unfortunately. Jubilee says, I love Keith. I think he's one of the bright spots on this team. I agree. Stanislav, I love the Devils. However, I think they're going to be sellers at the deadline. Yes, and Fitz needs to go. If we're sellers at the deadline, then so many things went awry. We could use a BMW line again. Jack Devil's going to lose 8-2 to Vegas. Oh, boy. Gleason, Fitz gives out contracts or personalities they like. These personalities like Marky, Plotter, even Dillon are making the team any more mentally tough or consistent. That is worse than ever. First of all, Dillon's a great guy. Dillon is, and he's playing very well this year. He's not a guy to try to call a whatever you're trying to lump these guys together as. Jungle Static, don't accept BS from the Devils org. Running with the Devils army rise up. We get plenty of calls from sales reps. Give us a reason to bitch, brother. Don't shrug it off. I don't know what you mean. Dude, you can't, dude, they get to pick. They get to pick and choose, man. It's like the frat boy at the door of the frat party. They either let you in or they don't. They decided that they don't want me in for complete nonsense. And it's fine. I got to where I'm at now without them, and I will be just fine without them. It sucks. It's not what I wanted, but here we are, and it is what it is. I mean, we'll see, but it doesn't seem promising. But thank you for the super, Jungle. But appreciate it. We got to Don to replace the Foley. Oh, you guys are funny. TJK, it's Edwards' time. Stop giving chances to the guys that had theirs years ago and sucks. Samuel, there's no single player you can add to change the direction the team is headed. I kind of agree with that as well. Like, no one guy is going to fix all of these problems, but it would be nice to add some pieces, because I do really believe that with Pesci and Jack, this team is much better, and we saw it before they got injured. But yeah, this is a dark time right now. Our 3-game winning streak is now sandwiched between 3-game losing streaks. 3-game loser, 3-game winner, 3-game loser. Rough. Mario, first year in a while where I'm doubting myself on if I should ask for Devils tickets for Christmas. What else are you contemplating? Devils tickets are always a good ask, though. I used to ask that. That was on my list every year. Every single year as a kid. I was like, you already know what I want. Eric, 3-game. Oh, shit. I fell behind. I got to catch up here. 3-game home losing streak, 4-6 since Jack went out. 2nd game held scoreless in that span. Brown and Grits haven't solved our depth scoring. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, but it just seems like it is almost exactly the same thing as last year. It's terrible. Stanislav says, I feel sick and angry. Good night, all. Walt, the answer to what NJ needs is obvious. They need a training montage set to take it to the limit. Problem solved. Who cares? Again, our forwards can't consistently establish a forecheck, cycle the puck, drive the net, throw pucks on net, and crash the net to clean up dirty rebounds. We rely too much on finesse and Jack. True Patriot, out here in the trenches, Ace taking grenades. Yeah, something like that. Larry, that single playoff round 1, mostly thanks to Akira Schmidt, and of course, Fitzy gets rid of him. I think that was a whole, who knows the real story, but it seemed like the relationship got probably a little contentious because of the way he was handled here. I mean, it's unfortunate. John Fay, they are playing great hockey right now. We aren't. Captain creates a culture. Nico has created a soft one. I would argue that that a bunch of soft-ish players is what makes a soft culture, in my opinion. That culture could be changed by bringing in the dogs. Bringing in the dogs would immediately change the culture. But I feel like we're too far down the road of where we are. It just sucks. Tonight was really a depressing night for me. Honestly, it was. Because coming off that last game, it was like this one would have been a real statement to be able to go out there and win this one and stop the bleeding. But now the bleeding is just, it's pouring out. with no. Yeah, what is the real kind of. Yeah, well, what is going to make it any better anytime before these guys come back? Like just us getting lucky. Another game where Allen has, a 42 save shutout. Garrett, really are lacking forward talent without Jack to carry the puck up and draw defenders. It's been a lackluster offense, barring sporadic bursts. Yeah. But again, it's like, how does a team with Nico and Timo and Brat and Grits and Mercer and Luke and now Nemo, it's like, how do we look so inept offensively just because Jack is out? And it's kind of bewildering. I don't know that any other team in the league, if you took away their biggest star, that the drop off would be as significant. Christopher Ace, yes again, Ace. Oh yeah, it ain't your fault, my man. Nick M says, let's just call it as it is. We are a weak team. Overall, I would say we are on the weaker end of the spectrum, unfortunately. But I did like the way they stood in there against the Jackets, but we just got mopped up. Christopher, a person that truly gives us for this team, and they do that, absolutely insane. Yeah. What are you going to do, guys? It is what it is. Top Jimmy, what happened? Nothing really. Michael, you keep real and still hitting the like. Yeah, thanks. Hit the thumbs up. They didn't really do anything per se, Garrett, but let's just say my short-lived media career has come to an end. Dude, those Devils hockey and they shit on them. Something like that. The team's in real trouble. Let's move back to the old barn. I would love to go back to the old arena more than anything. I don't think it'll ever happen, but it would be phenomenal on so many levels. I was dreaming of trying to do some legwork to see if it'd be possible for the owners to buy it and renovate it or bulldoze it and make a new one and then turn Prudential Center into just like shows and whatever only, and then have just a hockey facility at the other barn. Would be amazing. Jason, the 5-versus-5 play has been concerning. Top Jimmy said if they've over ace, then honestly, it's hard for me. I honestly don't even want to go to games anymore, honestly. But the team and the organization are very different. I love this team. Really don't care for the organization, but love the team. True Patriot Ace, you can't dangle the story. Maybe eventually I will. There's just a lot to it, and it's a lot of nonsense. Alex, a false so not a false accusation of like what anything not involving another person. I'll put it that way. The false accusations have nothing to do with another person. So all the crazy stuff that you got, no, it's more of just nonsense. Nothing along the lines of what you're thinking. Nothing like that. Nothing involving anyone else. David, share. I don't really want to talk about it right now because it'll just piss me off even more. But I probably eventually will. Amagi was going to say a straight up hater in the organization is ridiculous. Yeah. Mark, any thoughts to the idea that a decent amount of our former players improve on other teams or at least find a suitable role for their limited abilities? I've talked about this before. I think a lot of the times it's guys are just getting bigger roles with more opportunity. And so a guy that was here that may have been a third or fourth liner is now getting second line minutes and maybe some power play time. Some of them I think are the kind of timing of their or the maturation in their career. So like a guy like maybe Sharon Govich, right, is kind of both. He was here All right, sorry about that, folks. I rocked it with my head. I normally have the backwards hat so I can get a little closer. The bill intruded on the mic, so I apologize for the temporary outage. But I have mostly solved. I have to really, before if I just breathed on it, the cord would fall out. I've remedied a thing to where now it's more secure, but I did give it a good shot with the bill of the hat. Yeah, so back to what we're talking about. Yeah, guys are getting more opportunity, and so they're going to look better. And then some of them are we had guys when they were too young. The ones that or they weren't fully mature yet. The ones that come to mind for that is like Mackenzie Black would say, right? It just, he looked great on some nights. He looked horrible on other nights. He could never string it together and play well for a long stretch. And so they kind of moved on from him. And I think, he just blossomed a little bit later. And so with playing, playing more regularly on a bad San Jose team, and despite them being bad, he kind of settled in. And then eventually got plucked by a winning organization in the Avalanche. But I think that's happened with a lot of guys. Either, they kind of blossom naturally, age-wise, whatever, experience, games played-wise after they're here, or they just get more minutes, more opportunity, and thrive in those scenarios. Chase, no, we have too many. All right, hold on. Let me. Special merch on my list. Nice. Jungle. Alex, exactly. There's no what can you do? We could do plenty. If I don't know. What is this in reference to? The chat reset when I left, so I lost all the messages. So sorry, guys. Jason, no, it's still a tough physical league, just not as physical as it used to be. Unfortunately, the Devils don't have a lot of guys who do those small things you need to win. David, maybe Scott Gomez will come out of retirement. We could sign him to play center while Jack is out. Love Gomer. World's Worst Gamer says we could still go 6-13 or 6-14. Like I said, that would be brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yo, Holmes just got home from the game. What a lackadaisical effort. Yeah, I was there too. It was gross. And just a really rough one to be at. And I regret ever tempting myself to go. I wish I watched it from my couch as I had planned. Tropical Flamingo, so frustrated right now. Not getting any offense right now is absolutely brutal to watch. This was the opposite of the Columbus game, but just as bad because we couldn't do anything particularly offense. Sunrise Art Cinema, Moxie. We are missing Moxie. Yeah, and I think we have been for a while. Unfortunately. World's Worst Gamer, 100%, but problem is hard to find players who play hard these days. So many soft teams around the league. Yeah, that's why I really wanted a guy like Brady more than anything, because they are just so rare. Oh, God, Brian. Let's be honest. We're not winning a chip with this team as constructed. If this team looks like this without Jack, then we're not a serious team. Well, what if Jack and Pesci come back and we look like we did during the 8-game winning streak? Then what are you going to say? Like, oh, we suck without Jack? Okay, well, when Jack's back, who cares if we sucked without Jack? We just got to get there. True Patriots said, all right, boys, I'm almost ready to play in traffic. Can't do it anymore. Ace just got that. No, it's not that. Garrett, not to mention our defensemen are probably absolutely drained. Luke and Nemitz putting in absurd minutes trying to maintain and develop. Christopher, instead of Nico acting like Richie Aprile with his Manson lamps, he's acting like Bobby Bacala. Jason, no, one playoff round since 2012. It's enough with this organization. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been saying it forever, and if this season ends, in a tragic fashion, the chatter is going to be loud, and maybe that will happen, but I don't think it will. David, all this hype about trading Plot, if we do, we're not getting a player. We'll probably just get a pick and free up some cap space. I mean, I think most people would welcome freeing up cap space, though, because that hypothetically enables you to make another move. Keep in mind, we have to free up some cap space just to fit Kovacevic before we even think about adding anything else. Christopher says Mercer going to Vancouver. I hope not. True Patriot Ace, can we get the dude fired? No. Definitely not. Eric, we just need more dogs. Nico just doesn't kick and scream, but he's shown he's ready to get down. He's more of a dog than quite a few players on the team. Yeah, like I said, people lead and play in different ways, and kind of, his demeanor is much different than a lot of other guys, and I understand why a lot of the old school fans like myself, or people who've been fans even longer than me, are used to those guys that are the fiery, just nut jobs. And I get it. I love those guys too, and I always will, but they're just so few and far between these days that you just have to realize, like, we're old timers talking about glory days, and there's like not many of these guys left. And so you do have to appreciate how tough Nico is. It's just not the outward kind of emotional charged toughness that we may have been used to from the past. Alex says, I have a feeling it's a... No, it's not. It's not a woman. It has nothing... Listen, it has nothing to do with anything like that. This is basically... I'll just say that it has nothing to do with another person, and it's just like red tape, media, protocol, lies. To keep me out because for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because I'm an independent kind of entity or whatever it is, but it has nothing to do with anything with another person, just to be clear on that, and nothing that a person said I did to them or anything like that. It's just, the powers that be suppressing me with, we'll just call it media protocol lies, and I'll leave it at that. Christopher says he's a complete player, not a complete captain. I could see, again, what I don't necessarily fully agree, but I understand why you're saying that, because when a team is free falling like this, people start looking everywhere. GM, coach, captain, this guy, that guy. I certainly don't think Keefe should even be on anyone's list, but by default, you are going to see a coach put on that kind of target list when a team is kind of in free fall. Who cares? Nicohischier is a complete player, just not sure if he exudes leadership. Yo Home says, my bro just wrapped a film at the old Burn, The Fight for 84. What the heck is that? I got to look that up. What is that about? Is that something they filmed there? Oh, wow. Jamie Foxx is in this movie? It's about... Oh, wow. That I'll definitely check that movie out. Oh, boy. This is why I was given the boot from the media room. Can't handle the hot mic. Larry, we're having technical difficulties. Please stand by. No, MSG just covers the games. They don't have anything to do with anything. It's the team. Gone, just like our chance. Listen, our chances at the playoffs are not gone. We're still right in the thick of it, but there's not a lot of margin for error, obviously. The standings are insanely tight, and you could be in the basement of the whole conference with a week of bad play, and hopefully they get it together. We need points immediately. Jay Snow, Dallas completely shut us down. We couldn't get to any of the hard areas, and they just outmuscled us. It's a huge concern with this group and has been for a while. No, I agree. It just seems like on certain nights, it just seems like this very uninspired hockey. I don't know. I mean, listen, we had a couple decent chances. Ottinger did make some good saves, but it's not like he was really forced to, to do anything major. It was just a kind of probably just a standard start for him. Make your saves and move on. Ace, your live stream is more exciting than the whole entire Devils game tonight. Yeah, thanks. It's not saying much, but Christopher, one of the worst games I've seen. Beachmaster Grits was good. Timo too. Jason, no, Allen's good, but only in short stints, and Markey's been bad all year. World's worst game. I knew Blackwood would be fine. Devils blew it. I was pissed when he left. I feel like they were patient with him. Like, I'll tell you this. By the time he got traded, like, I was kind of over him too. I had a friend who was like calling for the Devils to get rid of him for like 2 years before they did. And I kept saying, like, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. And then finally when it happened, when it happened, I was like, we were overdue. And then of course he goes on to be great. Tropical Flamingo, this ownership group has always valued profit over winning. Please prove us all wrong. I hope they do. Just get us a big move and it turns the tide, shows the commitment. We need a spark right now badly. The thing that sucks is that we had LTIR money for 2 years in a row to exploit the playoff loophole, and we did not do it. And now the loophole is closed. And so in my opinion, that is a massive, massive missed opportunity, because it's something crazy like 6 of the last 8 or something like that cup winners were teams that did exploit the loophole by spending over the cap, using their LTIR money, and then activating their team and being like 20 million over cap for the playoffs. That's what teams that really wanted to win were doing, and it worked. It worked very, very well. Alex's Black would hurt, but you've seen the potential for sure, yeah. MAF, this team will be fighting all season to make the playoffs. They will, but again, will be bounced out in the first round. Oh, I really hope not. I really, really hope not. Nolan still going to go Friday, hoping they could squeak a win against the Vegas Golden Knights. Oh, before I forget, it's pinned. It's pinned in here. The comment at the top. Wait, let me just see something here. Fanatics is having a wild sale. I went on a small shopping spree today, and the link is pinned at the top of the chat, but I'll post it in here again. Check it out. There's some sick hats for like $14 and $15, like nice hats, hood. There's all kinds of stuff. Comb through it'll bring you right to the sale page. Tons of great stuff for sale on Fanatics. Definitely check that out. That was my kind of random thought. But Mario says, I'm even more depressed at school due to these losses. I can't with this team anymore. Man. What's it to you? LOL, after all the young draft picks and complaining about how we had no young talent and now we think we need to add veterans. Hell of a timeline we've gone on. I mean, this win now is to get vets, in my opinion. This should be win now. Right now. Win now. The window is open, and it's not going to be open for long. Win now. Mark, to your point, Ace, what if Jack and Pesci do come back and we return to form? That just shows the rest of the league you can neutralize Jack and Pesci, and the team is easily beatable. No, because you're not. Pesci is a defenseman, so you're not really neutralizing him. And when he is back with Kovacevic, the pairings will probably be different, which will give us some more balance there. And so, in my opinion, there's nothing you're going to do to negate Pesci. Now, teams have been trying to neutralize Jack pretty much his whole career. That's not a secret. Everyone knows that Jack Hughes is our most offensive, threatening guy. So it's no secret. Like, take him out of the game or really clamp down on him, and your chances of beating the Devils improve significantly. That's not a secret. Everyone knew that, regardless of the team struggling horrifically with him out of the lineup. This one's very good. This is probably my favorite nooner. Black cherry. The carbonation sometimes, though, is a little... Who cares? We really are in a Toronto story arc minus consistent first-round playoff appearances or regular season success. Yeah, at least they had that, right? Nolan, is it true with this Predators trade thing I read about with Fitz? Who knows? People are reporting... math off topic. Look up Hagen. I think this is this is Hagen's. Look up Hagen. Hold on, I'll drop the link in the chat for that too. Hold on. I'll put the link in the chat. I don't know if it's still there, but surf around. This guy has a lot of cool devil stuff. I just dropped the link in the chat. Garrett, can we get this dude fired? Yeah, I'm not trying to get people fired, even if I think they deserve it. I'm certainly not that type of person to try to do stuff like this. Like, it is what it is. Like, listen, if this is the person you are and this is who you want to be and this is how you want to treat me, like, it's all good. You know, I will continue on and it is what it is. But I'm certainly not trying to get, people fired in any way. And, hopefully I'm somewhat of a believer in karma, and I just try to do right by people in this world, put out good energy, and hope it comes back. A lot of times it does not, but, I can't dwell on negative people and their kind of nonsense. It is what it is. Crazy Alex, whoever it is, they must have watched the lives. I mean, what is so crazy about the lives, though? I mean, watch the live. I don't know. What does that even mean? Yeah, I got kicked out. Larry, to get plot traded, they'll have to add an assist and add an assist and retention to get it done. Chances are that both Plot and Hamilton will be here to the end of the season. I could totally see that. World's Worst Gamer. Oh, what a shocker that mainstream media maybe is pushing out other media. Yeah, maybe. I mean, listen, the reality is I think hockey and the Devils and hockey as a whole has so much room to grow and, become more popular. And there's so many different initiatives and I think marketing types of things that could and should be done. But hockey is just so far behind the other sports. And I hope one day they catch up, but they certainly don't do themselves any favors. And a lot of the stuff is even like league driven. Like, how archaic is it? I think they're going to find the Devils for not wearing helmets in warmups because they all wore the Dilly hats the other night. Like, how dumb is that shit? It's just so dumb. It makes literally no sense. Like, there has to be exceptions. Like, okay, it's a dude's 1,000th game. They're all going to wear a matching hat. Like, give me a break. But this is just kind of how hockey is. Crazy Alex, because I'd say you have good influence, lead on a sizable portion of fans. Yeah, but what does that mean? I'm probably the most positive person, period. I don't know. But at this point, I don't even care. It's beyond my control. I cannot dwell on it anymore. Life goes on. Tropical Flamingo, it's so tough right now. I was secretly hoping we would pull Markey when we got that power play in early third for a spark, but knew it would never happen. When you're in a slump, sometimes think out of the box. 6'4". World's Worst Gamer says, Jack cut his other hand yet? No, hopefully not. Sook, if they kicked you out, then yep, this franchise is screwed. An echo chamber of false positivity and sugarcoating the media room, and they want it like that, this organization will never be serious. I don't know. I never said anything crazy. Amagi, Ace is too real and genuine for the organization, probably. I feel like everyone else is very safe. I never said anything crazy, though. I never even said anything remotely crazy. Justin says, cheer up, Ace's team will be fine. I mean, they could be in trouble in a hurry. It could be, we could be out of the wild card in a few days, which is frightening considering where we were once upon a time. It was all good just a couple weeks ago. And now it's like, it's a little bit, it's getting a little scary. Provo says this team will not be fine. I miss Dougie Hamilton goals too, John. Christopher, I wonder if Kenny ever gets tired of sugarcoating. I know you went tonight, Ace, but on the third goal, Ken sounded like he wanted to go off script. Oh, he was mad. Suk says, running getting booted from the press room makes me more angry than it should. A win against Vegas would give a little shock to my hopes, says Michael. I don't know. I don't know. It might. It would be nice, but I'm not going to now change my opinion about this team from where I'm at right now for quite some time. They kind of got me. I was duped with the 3-game winning streak, but then they followed it up with a 3-game losing streak. So, and in the fashion in which it happened, I'm pretty down right now. I hope they could just be somewhat competitive until Jack and Pesci and Jack come back. SST, let's be real. Running never had the makings of a varsity journalist. Well played. Well played. David Chimes, Glendenning missing on that rebound is inexcusable. Wide open net upstairs and hits outside of post. No pressure on him. Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was going to bury that. David says, Ace, totally off topic. When the Devils win and you play the audio clip with PK Subban saying, how about those Devils? Do you remember when he said that? Yeah, it was at the Stadium Series. I think that clip came from there. It was all the Stadium Series stuff. PK the legend. It's when he walks in and does he reads the lineup. World's Worst Gamer says, damn, you aren't kidding. Some of those are really good prices. Unfortunately, I'm in Canada with a lousy dollar and shipping would be insane. Yeah, some of the stuff is crazy deals. I bought a lot of stuff. I'll probably go back tomorrow and look for some more. I got a little fatigued earlier today looking at all the stuff, but there's some wild deals. Hats, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. There's so many nice hats that I've wanted for a while, and some of them like crazy discounted. John Friday, I'm out a bit early for tonight, depending on if you're still on. I may return. I'm so tired. I haven't slept good this week. Christopher says, definitely think Stamkos to NJ happens sooner than later. Assuming the deal is fair, I would love to see Stammer here. I know I'm in the minority with that. I've been fighting people about it for a while, but assuming Palat's no longer here and there's some retention on Stamkos, how could you not want to take a chance on a move like that? Don't want Stamkos. I want Tage Thompson. Wildly different players with wildly different percentages of it actually happening. Like Stamkos, I'll put at maybe, I don't know how credible these reports are, but I could see that being like a 10 to 20% chance. Tage Thompson's like 0.002%. David, not at the 8 million, my guy. Obviously, I have no interest in that. With retention, with healthy retention. Select a boy, what's going on? Ryan, we must beat Vegas. Dallas played last night and still dog walked us. Yeah. Yes, they did. The insane Pollock ace was it a rival super fan from a certain section of the arena? What is that in reference to? Jack says this thing could get ugly quick if it's not happening already. As Yogi said, it's getting late early. Devils Hawk, the puck display case has the same sale, nothing lower than its normal sale. Yeah, certain items they'll probably only ever reduce to what, a certain price. But I don't know. I found a bunch of stuff I've never seen that cheap. Like hats were half. But there was some good stuff. I didn't have time to surf through all of it, but I bought a few things like immediately. Larry, one more cup in my lifetime will be sweet. Being I'm 62 this month, and like I said, Ace, they're not doing it with Fitzgerald as GM, and whoever's the new GM will need time to clean up the mess. I hope somehow Fitz could luck into one. What's going on, Evan? Yo home says, I've been asking everyone what is depth scoring. Yeah. Screw the Stamkos trade. I want Connor McDavid, right? Let's just throw out, the real top dogs of the league. But I'd be happy with anyone that was a real improvement for the team. And the reality is, given some of the forwards that we're throwing out there nightly, pretty much every name that the Devils have been speculated to or rumored to, all would be would be improvements to the team. So I would take anyone. But the thing is, I just want the best improvement possible. And we're not going to be able to make unlimited moves because of assets required to make the moves and cap space, yada, yada. There might be one or two trades or moves, and that's it. And so I'm just hoping that Fitz kind of turns over every stone and figures out what would cost or who would cost what and makes the best decision of what can be done with what's out there. The insane Pollock Tage to the Devils is as ridiculous as when we were thinking Brady had any chance of being traded here. Yeah, pretty much. Jack, if this team does not win 2 playoff rounds, a culture change is needed. Serious pieces need to be shipped out. In that case, that'll be 3 years of no progress, only going backwards. I agree. SJ says we have Timo, but need more big skilled guys. Also agree with that. Luke says Mercer first for Stammer. No way. That's an insane overpay. There's no way he does that. He just came in second. Insane Pollock. There are a couple super fans that are close to org that could have been jealous and put in influence to get you out of the. Maybe. I don't know. At this point, I don't even care. I mean, I do care, but there's nothing. I can't waste energy on things that I have no control over that are not, that are not based in anything real. It's just like people could do whatever they want. So, okay, fine. Larry, Ace, if you've given up on the Olympics, might be moved, and I can't see why you'd want to give money to those corrupt IOC bums because I love Team USA and Team USA hockey is phenomenal. I have seen all the stuff. I don't know. I don't know how real a lot of it is or how, how much is in jeopardy to not be done. It seems like this is a lot of clickbaity kind of articles, it seems like, and that it will be done. And the biggest news that came out in the past couple of days was courtesy of former Devils head coach Pete DeBoer, I believe, who revealed the rink was smaller than it was supposed to be by a few feet. Crazy stuff surrounding this whole thing. But it certainly seems like the league really wants to be there now and will do everything they can to do it, provided they deliver on their end. And it seems like they're claiming, I think that it'll be ready for like mid-January for the whatever test events they're going to do. Jay Snow, we waited years for a rebuild, got top picks, and have one round to show for it. Yeah. And that's why, I do feel that years have been wasted, and it's time to truly go into win now and really act like it. I don't know. Why can't they have the game at a venue somewhere else? Yeah, people were asking that. I have no idea why. Some, they said they had no backup venue and yada yada, and so I don't know what the the extra details of it are, but it seems like it has to either be there or nowhere. And I think the league was considering trying to suggest, or maybe even did suggest some other places, but it seems like they really want to have it where it was supposed to be. So it'll be interesting to follow that kind of saga. Sadly, I'm being reminded of what I do now for a decade. Richard, agreeing, will be shocked if Jack has oh, come on. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. Suk says McKinnon gets points and goals nearly nightly. Timo wishes he could, but instead he gets streaky and disappears. Yeah, people have talked about Shen. There's a lot of names out there. Who's it going to be? John, the team has been riddled with injuries. Really has played a huge factor in the progression of this team into the postseason. Not an excuse, but still a fact. I'm with you with that. It sucks. But Gleason, Fitz is making a trade tomorrow. Y'all stop being ungrateful. You get to watch Lamco and Glendenning every night. 2013, you can only dream of that. Jack McCabe, McKinnon is an animal. That is someone who has fully committed his entire life to hockey and winning hockey, and we are seeing the fruits of his labor. What a player. All right, I need to I need to use the restroom real quick and get water because I'm dying. What photo do I want to throw up there for right now? I guess I'll just leave the game stats. Be back in 2 minutes. I need water and to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Be right back. And we are back. And we are back, I think. Or maybe not. I showed this already, but I'll show it one more time. The deserve to win meter. Devils deserve to win, but they didn't. But they did not. What would Stamkos cost? I honestly have no idea. There's so many variables. Like what direction Nashville's really trying to go in? Are they trying to retool? Are they trying to full tear down and rebuild? Are they willing to retain on Stamkos and how much? If they are willing to retain a good amount of money, that will obviously drive the cost on Stammer up. And so a lot of variables, but I definitely think the Devils have more than enough pieces to make it happen. And St. Paul, sad to see Ace has so many people that don't like him and are. I mean, what is there to be jealous of? A YouTube channel? I mean, let's be real. There's nothing to be jealous of. I think that's crazy. It's just people don't like me, and that's fine. I've tried to be nothing but an advocate for the team and be positive. I've had nothing but positive interactions with all of the former players I have talked to, and many of them that I've interviewed. A lot of them I've talked to and not interviewed, but the legendary Stan Fischler. And so, things like that do make me feel good when I'm able to talk to someone as legendary and respected as Stan, and he's been very nice and complimentary towards me. That does, make me feel good in a world where there's a lot of crappy stuff happens. Pro Bolt says any trade is possible. Oh, Richard with the eagle eye mentioned this in a comment, and I did a little investigation. Let me see if I have this picture handy, Richard. I don't know if I do. Did I not save it? Hold on one second. Richard had the eagle eye. Oh, damn it. Where's the photo? Is this it? Yeah, so Richard noticed on the video that Brendan Smith had a ring on his finger, which you're not supposed to have. And here it is. If you look at Brendan Smith's left hand, which is right to the left of, you see 47 on Kotz's shoulder there on his jersey, Brendan Smith certainly has what appears to be a wedding ring on his hand. And there is a rule. You're not supposed to wear rings. You're not supposed to have tape or anything on your knuckles because it could, on your hands, because it could hurt a guy in a fight or whatever else. Luckily, Cotter was not injured in this thing. But that certainly could have been a penalty if it was caught. And it seemed like Smith realized afterwards. And I don't know if he like hit his hand in his jersey and may have slipped the ring off. Because the video is kind of jumpy if you watch the feed of when they're going to the box. But there it is, clear as day. And shout out to Richard for finding this. On Brendan Smith's left hand there, you could certainly see a ring. Jack, the greatest goal I've ever watched was McKinnon's goal in Game 5 of 2022, second round for St. Louis. Hat-trick goal, galloped down the ice like he was flying. Incredible. Yeah, he certainly can accelerate in a hurry. Amongst the best in the league. Pro Bolt says Keefe is not a good coach. I certainly disagree with you there. I think Keefe has been doing magic with AHL guys in his lineup every single night for pretty much the whole time he was here. Gleason says if Fitz trades for a 34-year-old with term, I'm out on the Devils. Do you believe the team should be in win now mode? What do you want to get a bunch more kids so that we could talk about? Wait for it. Let's trade for some 22-year-olds. So you know why? Because when we get those 22-year-olds, we could all sit here and talk about how bright the future is. Let me put on my future is bright glasses. We could all talk about how bright the future is by getting some young kids. The time to win is now, and that includes getting veterans who have been down this road before, who know how to win and will drag a team to victory. The time to win is now. Now. Right now. Bobby says, Ace, what do you think the issue is with this team? Why are they like this year after year? I don't know. I wish I had the answer. I don't think anyone has the answer, but I think it starts with we just don't have enough dogs. Guys that hate losing and will stir some shit up. We don't have enough of them, in my opinion. the composition of the team is not ideal. And sometimes when the tough gets going, they fold up. Now, we have seen them come back from some deficits and make pushes, which is encouraging. But you need a little more nastiness throughout, in my opinion. That was certainly a wedding ring. Clear as day in the picture. Jack, need to change literally anything with the bottom six. Bring up guys who aren't even ready for the NHL. Yeah, I would like to see LeChance and Hallinan again. I mean, I don't see how they could bring any less than what we've been getting recently. Select the Boy says the time to win is right now. Enough BSing. I completely agree with you. Mark, again, Ace, the Devils have never come from down 2 goals to win a game under Sheldon Keefe. There's no way that that's true. The Devils have never come from down 2 goals to win a game under Keefe. That can't be a real stat. Ethan says, pause, Ace. You said you want young kids. When did I say that? You were talking about to give guys a shot in the bottom 6. Maybe I did. I don't know exactly what you're referring to. But I'm certainly not only looking to trade for young guys. Like, win now pieces typically are older. The time to win is now. Jason, how many reporters the Devils have? Novo, Amoya, Amanda Stein. There's a couple others. A few others. Who cares? The team peaked in 22-23 when it played a transition game that it was built for, and the reactionary pivot to a more tough roster, which was needed, does not suddenly undo the core construction. Pride and respect. What's going on, Ace? What's up, man? My patience is wearing thin with this team. Don't want to get too negative because I'd be showing more care than this current group. Oof. The scathing comments are out tonight. But, the team, a 3-game winning streak sandwiched by 3-game losing streaks. That's rough. It's really rough. SJ, I think teams adjusted after 22-23 just clogged the zone. The Devils have no answer. Certainly makes it difficult on them. And they certainly don't look comfortable going to that B and C game. And it's something they have to get used to. You're not always going to be able to play your preferred brand or style of hockey. And smart teams do know what to do to make it difficult on the Devils. And so then you got to give them a different look and find other ways to generate offense. Jack, I know they came back from down 2 against the Islanders on the island last November. Jack Hughes OT winner. That one was crazy. I remember that. I don't know why, but for some reason I remember it vividly. I was watching that at my mother's house. Crazy Alex, did I hear that right? That we haven't beat the Stars at home since 2018? I'm not sure. Ethan, Ace, can we start a GoFundMe so we could buy the Devils? I will donate $5 and promote you to GM. I would want no parts of being a GM. And unfortunately, this came up in the previous live. It used to be my fantasy if I ever won Powerball to buy the Devils. That was like when they were a few $100 million team. Now they're worth like over $2 billion. And so, that dream is out the window. You would need to buy any sort of, at this point, probably any professional sports team with the values of them up the way they are. It would take a lot. More than a Powerball winning. Ryan, and respect, it's just unfortunate all around with this team right now. Not sure how this keeps happening every year, but there's got to be a way to stop it. Seems like an unsolvable problem with current ownership. I don't know. I think the problem kind of touches multiple kind of avenues. I don't think it's necessarily all ownership. They probably play a part in it, but there's just a lot of things I think that have kind of come together to form this kind of sad reality that we're stuck in right now. And I hope when Jack and Pesci are back, the team snaps back to what we looked like before. But as of now, they're going to have to scratch and claw without Jack. Insane Pollock, the sky is not falling yet. We had a 1-3 West Coast road trip, and the comments were like this. I'm not panicked yet. Concerned, but not panicked. I'm close to panicked. I'm close to panicked. After they had the 3-game winning streak, I was like, all right, that was a little skid. But now, another 3-game slide, like this is who this team is. Consistently inconsistent. Jack McCabe, considering age, talent, production, contract, grit, pedigree, whatever, what 2 players in the whole league would you add to the Devils? Where would they line up and why? Forget cap space. Oh, so this is just like a total nonsense fantasy exercise. I like this kind of shit. Like cap space doesn't matter. We're just adding anybody. So it would be probably any 2. Brady Tkachuk's 1,000,000% one of them. I might even say Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, but definitely Brady. Tage Thompson could be in there. Tom Wilson could be in there, maybe. Yeah, Tom Wilson might be in there too. Yeah, Brady Tkachuk's 1,000% in, and then my other one would either be Tage or Tom Wilson. Jay Snow, every year, same garbage time. It's time to break this core up. The chatter is going to be loud after the season if the season kind of gets away from us. Ride and respect. I don't know. I don't see how they're in a playoff spot by the time Jack comes back. Then it's just fighting uphill from there all the rest of the way. I certainly hope not. David, Ace, are you always in the same section when you go to home games? No. I sit in a bunch of different places. I'm all over the place. Jack says agree. Need to break up core 3 years. Same shit. Ethan, let's be real. What if we win a cup without Jack? I mean, shh. Luke, honest question. If Lou was the GM, how could it be worse? If Lou was the GM, how could it be worse? Oh, it couldn't be, I don't think. Because, if Lou's going to fail, he's at least going to fail he'll take a big swing. So I'll always ride with a guy who's going to do that versus the hands in your pockets approach. I'd much rather have a proactive GM who's going to try to make a big push, make that big swing, and hope he connects. Jack, what would it take for you to fully press the panic button with no return? I'm pretty much there because you have a bad week and you could be out of the playoffs and then in a horrifying scenario, dig yourself a deep hole that you can't climb out of by the time Jack comes back. And so I'm firmly there now. We need to be in a playoff spot when Jack comes back. We can't be, 6 points out of a wild card spot and hope that he's going to come back and bail us out. Sam Bennett and Tage Thompson. Not bad picks. Tropical Flamingo, the list goes on and on, whether it be sitting on LTIR multiple years in a row, not making moves to give this team the boost it needs. List goes on, and with Fitz, hope ownership sees, but they won't. Well, it's a moot point now because the LTIR loophole is closed to the playoffs, so the years that we had a chance to do it are behind us now. Ryan Demand, we see the Stars again in March on the road in Dallas. Ooh, we must beat them and get revenge for sure. Jungle Static, tomorrow 5 p.m. Outlook meeting, CC Devils. If only, right? Luke, also after market extension, I'm personally afraid of any trades. I'm more afraid of no trades, though, Luke. Like, no trades would be pretty damning. Jack, Avs numbers so far are nuts. They're like their 2022 selves, absolutely dominant. Yeah, Wedgwood, man. Wedgwood putting on a clinic out there. What a season for Wedgwood. and good for him. Didn't seem like he was ever going to have an opportunity like this, and now it's here for him. Luke, good stuff. Ace, good night, gentlemen. Good night, Luke. Good night, Alex. Suk, Lou will go on and watch it burn if he must, but he'll do his absolute best to get us there. Yeah. Gleason says, Lou left us the worst organizational roster in history. Yeah, and he also delivered 3 cups. Jack says, Bratt, Hughes, Pasternak, Meier, Hischier, Kachuk would be a pretty good top 6. Oh, you think? Pretty good, Jack? I would say that's a stellar or dynamic top 6. Snow, I was pissed that Fitz with Dodonov and Brown as the only moves in the summer. Yeah, I mean, I knew a lot of people were, in these delusional fantasies that we were going to make all these big name acquisitions. I never thought it would happen. Jungle Static, 100%. The worst outcome would be no action from the Devils. I'd legit take an overpay over nothing. Completely agree. The time to win is now. Right now. Right now. Overpay if you must. Not like crazy overpay, but these years are precious. These years are precious. The panic button's out now. Pretty much. Not fully, but I'm close. Because we're in a bad spot. Hold on, the camera went out. It's not my night, guys. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough night. Hold on, we'll fix this camera real quick. I know the webcam. It's not my night, guys. It's not my week. It's not my year. I'm hoping for a better 2026. 2025 was not my year. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm so tired. It's really not, though, Justin, just because of how tight the standings are and how bad we've looked without Jack. Like we're pretty close to panic time. Richard Ace, you can only have one legend in their prime in the current team, Stevens or Marty. I know you're taking Marty, but Stevens would scare the crap out of these guys. I think I'd have to go Marty, but obviously Stevens is right there in the conversation as well. Gun to your head, Devils missed the playoffs. Is Fitzgerald out? Dude, if I had to guess, I would say no. I would say no, dude. I don't think so. Because I think the injury excuse will save him again. As crazy as it is, I think the injury excuse will be enough for the powers that be to be like, well, what was he supposed to do? Which I completely disagree with, but it's there. It's totally there. Who cares? We spent all our lowly years drafting for skill and speed. The heavier, edgier, more violent pivot does not retroactively change us. Now we're wondering why our forwards can't find lunch pail ways to generate offense. Just call it a night. I'm close. SJ, that's tough. I don't think we win without Scotty. Well, it's a different conversation, right? About, those teams versus who you would take on the current team. I mean, half the things Stevens did, he would be put in prison for now in the current league. Like, yeah, you couldn't get away with a lot of the stuff that he did. And that's a lot of the guys that played in the league at that time. Jungle Static, the years are precious, more precious than 2026 first and second, 27 first and second, Casey, Dawes, Haminaho, and more. Completely agree. And that's why I'm okay with somewhat of an overpay too. Sometimes you got to do it. You got to try to win now. Turco, my man, all bad things lead to something good. Oh, the eternal optimist, my man, Brian. I hope you're right, sir. How I got a Jeremy proper. Yahoo Sports totally left us off the playoff roster. Pitt 1, Filthy 2, Isles 3. Richard says, Ace, have a chocolate milk. When one door closes, another one opens. Good night. Hopefully. Good night, my man. Sook says, if the injury excuse saves him again, I'll personally go to his office and remove him. SJ says, Marty for GM if he wants it. Could not agree more. I will take my chances with a guy like Marty any day. If he wants the gig, I would say, fix this mess, Marty. You kind of have, well, he's been around the game for so long and knows what winning teams look like and the ingredients that make them up. I certainly think he could do a pretty damn good job. Jay Snow, I give the Rangers and Islanders credit. They've both made Eastern Conference Finals appearances and gone for it recently while we've done absolutely nothing. Also true. Jack says Fitzgerald cheers the injuries, gets to sit on his hands and say, hey, it is what it is. The future is bright. You know where I'm at with talking about the future is bright. The time to win is now. Right now. Jason says the window is closing. I agree as well. I still think it's open for a minimum of a few more years, but the window is rapidly shrinking. General Static, honestly, it could be worse. Let's go Devils. Call your local rep and demand running with the Devils access. It is your duty as a fan and a patriot. Oh, boy. Yes, no, they're not young anymore. I've been saying it forever. Guys approaching 30. Guys have been in the league for a while. And, Bratter and Nico, man. 9 years in the league. They won a single friggin' round. I mean, that's criminal. They've won a single playoff round in 7 total playoff games. I mean, my God. And people think it's just an automatic that Nico's going to re-sign here. I don't think so whatsoever. What would make people believe that's like a foregone conclusion? I think it's crazy that people think that. I hope he does re-sign here and he's a career Devil, but I certainly don't just assume that that's going to be the case. Wasted years of number 1 picks. Jay Snow, they're not kids anymore at the score. Ryan Demand, the time to win is now. Jack, oh, God. Getting Dodonov back is like a major trade acquisition in and of itself. This is the type of rhetoric that we have heard before. It can't be what the narrative is for this upcoming deadline. There is no addition by getting healthy. We need actual pieces. Jay Snow, maybe this team needs someone big to get moved for it to get through to them. Yeah, and I said that after the Philly game, which was the first 3-game losing streak. That was a demoralizing loss to me in many ways. And at that point, I said, maybe it's time to start asking the hard questions, and maybe it's time for one of those earth-shattering type trades. I thought at that point it was fair to at least contemplate that kind of direction. And then they responded pretty big and won 3 in a row. But here we are now following that up with 3 losses in a row. So it's a tough spot. Jason, no, it's disgusting. I've watched so much bad hockey. How are we still in this spot? The 8-game heater. That's how. This is Danny. Losing shutout is unacceptable. I'd not mind losing like 3-1 or 3-2 or getting 1 goal. I mean, I still hate it just the same, but the shutout is just a little extra kick in the you-know-whats. I don't got anything else on the way out here. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally and physically drained and a little heartbroken. Grits is 25. Pretending we're young is crazy. You can look up the average age. Fitz hasn't graduated any of these Stillman or Holtz bums. Well, Stillman and Holtz got shipped out. First round picks that didn't pan out. Oh, how are we still in the spot after all these years of losing? We grew up with a different standard for the Devils. It was an era. It was an era. What an era it was. Yeah, if I had to bet on it, I think we just get some minor depth, like maybe another glass type center or something like that. If I had to just predict, I hope I'm wrong. Jeremy Proper, Pesci 9 games played. Dadonov 5 games. McEwen 0. No, he's played like 3 or 4 and got hurt twice. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. Devils lose a stinker by a score of 3-0 to the Dallas Stars and are now on a 3-game losing streak, all of which have occurred on home ice at the Rock. After starting out so hot there. After starting out so hot at the Rock, it's been a complete reversal. And it sucks. I hope they get it together. Back in action Friday night against the Golden Knights. Another difficult challenge ahead. I'm so curious who's going to be in net for that one. Are we going to see Markey or are we going to see Jake Allen return? I don't know. At this point, it doesn't even matter. When you can't score goals, it doesn't matter who you got in the net. Prime Marty wasn't winning tonight's game because there is 0 goal support. All right, that's it, guys. But appreciate you all working on some stuff. And that's it. That is it. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out. I think that's all I got, guys. I'm deflated. Big news coming soon, though. I know I've been talking about the giveaway show for a while, but it's finally in the final stages. I've been doing a lot of organizational projects, and there's going to be a monster giveaway show. I'm going to do it before the holidays. It's going to be pretty cool, so stay tuned for that. And that's it. I'm dying. Death by sodium. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go. Devils.